What's up, everyone? Hello and welcome to another edition of Hoops Hobby Hangout. Thanks for coming in to hang out with us here on another Thursday. This is our 25th time. I don't know if there's a point to necessarily keeping track, but we're just going to do it until we don't. And so it's our 25th time gathering together and hanging out. I'm Joey here with Steve and Adam. Ryan may or may not join us later, but hopefully can maybe hang out with us in the chat if he doesn't jump on. We're talking everything All-Star cards because I think I'm going to officially call this the kickoff event for All-Star Weekend. So this is All-Star Weekend here in LA and near me. So it made sense, I think, to go ahead and just talk about all things All-Star cards and All-Star sets and themes and memorabilia and whatever. So that's going to be our topic for the day. And, we've had lots of people sharing various All-Star cards that they have and sets and things like that over the last few days. So we're excited to share those, but also hope that whether you're jumping in right now or watching this later, you can continue to share those cards either by tagging us over on Instagram or at Hoops Hobby Hangout, or jumping into the comments on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever. We are right now here on YouTube, but also on my Instagram account. We are live. So that's on Sack Kings Cards. If you don't want to have to go to my Instagram account, then keep pushing people to follow us. So once we get to 1,000, I think we're like at 420, but once we get to 1,000 followers, we can just stream straight through our account on Hoops Hobby Hangout. And then that's kind of all the logistical stuff there. So no matter what we're doing, no matter what means you are capable, we're just trying to hang out. So hopefully you can join the conversation, share your cards, share your thoughts, share your opinions and there's lots of ways to do that, including right now. If you're following along, you can chat via Instagram or YouTube, or scan the QR code that you see here on the screen. And that will bring you to the actual video stream. So we don't have a high bar for that. Just join in if you can. And then the link is in both chats, whether you're on YouTube or Instagram. So Darren is already here hanging out with us. So welcome. Adam, he is cramming last second because he got home late from work. So he's trying to make sure he's prepared with all of his all-star stuff. So very perceptive of you. Before we jump into things, because last week we jumped straight into trade deadline and didn't get a chance to talk updates. So do you guys have any updates? Anything that's been going on with you guys that you want to share? What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Ryan? I got nothing. I got a little, outro update that I'll share at the end about some stuff coming up, but I got nothing major to share this week. Just excited to talk All-Star cards. What I will say to my first take is, while Adam gets himself ready, is I have always loved collecting All-Star Game related cards, even back into the 90s. I mean, they've been part of basketball cards almost as long as basketball cards have been a thing. I mean, Top started introducing All-Star themed cards in the 70s, and Dar had some in the 80s, Flair in the 80s, Hoops, Upper Deck. I mean, it's always been part of a thing. And ironically, I don't care about the All-Star Game, right? I was thinking about, and I don't know why I remember this, Joey, but back Chris HHH, so Chris from Card Ladder, previously Chris House of Jordans, on either the crossover early days or when he was doing his House of Jordans content, posted something about a question out to the followers about, if you had to give up one, would you give up following the NBA or collecting the cards if you can only have one? And I thought it was such an absurd question, but looking back, it's a question that's really about the collectability, having something to collect. But to me, the cards are all about tracking the history of my fandom. Except All-Star Game cards. I don't watch the All-Star Game. I like Saturday night. I like the three-point shootout. I'll usually have the All-Star Game on the background. But I just like collecting the cards because I think it's part of the character arc of the player. I don't actually care about the All-Star Game, but there's some of my favorite cards to collect. Always have been. Going back to 94, 95 Flair with those All-Star Weekend cards where they were the texture basketballs. The old oversized jam session cards at All-Star theme stuff. I mean, I've always loved them, but it's the one aspect of being a fan that I don't care about the game, and it's more about the actual cards to me, which is an odd little piece to my collection.
Did you ever care about the All-Star game? Because obviously now it's a shell of what it was, 2 or 3 decades ago. Did you even in the 90s or early 2000s not
I mean,
really have an affinity?
I loved watching Magic Johnson come out right after his diagnosis and what might have been his last game. I loved some of the comeback stories. I love when Jordan had his final All Star game and everyone knew it. Um, I've never really cared about the outcome of it. I mean, if you grew up in the '90s, the MLB All Star game was a legit thing before they had interleague play. So I think that carried over a little bit, but I don't think it's ever been something that I've watched from like a competitive standpoint. And I'll call the bluff on all the current ex players that have content creation themselves that say, oh, back when Kobe was here, we tried in the All Star game and it meant something. And I think that's just them reliving their glory days a little bit higher than it was. I've always liked it. Well, I used to like the dunk contest. I think it's a little watered down now. I think it's like too many attempts and everything. Love the 3-point contest. A fan of the skills competition. Love seeing the celebrities. I love seeing the players in their street clothes kind of all hanging out, doing the interviews. So I like Saturday night a lot. I've never really cared for the All-Star game, but I do think being named an All-Star is an important part of a player's, career highlights. So I would be completely fine with them creating a jersey, gifting it to the player, naming them an All-Star, and never holding the actual game itself, or doing like a night of like horse and one-on-one tournaments and stuff like that.
It's kind of like what it feels like it is these days.
Once you start having like 185 to 180 point games, what do we do? I mean, it's not watchable. It's really not. But
yeah, I mean, I think in regards to what you were referencing with Saturday night and stuff, and you said the dunk contest. I mean, I think that ever since the 3-pointer has turned into what it is with Steph and all that stuff, I think that has kind of overshadowed the dunk contest in terms of the premier attraction for All-Star Saturday night. But is the dunk contest has never recovered from not being able to attract its stars, right? I mean, LeBron obviously has never done it. I know in the late 2000s, Blake Griffin was doing it. And so that was, he was the number one pick. So that was obviously there. But I mean, in the last 15 years, have any meaningful players in the league participated in the dunk contest?
I mean, Jaylen Brown.
So no.
Yeah, no, the dunk contest is interesting. I mean, I remember being in my mid-20s and on a Saturday night being out, my friends at a bar or something, and the entire place, not the females there, but a lot of the guys would be sitting around the bar, watching the dunk contest. I vividly remember watching at a bar in downtown Boston the dunk contest where I think it was Andre Iguodala, bounced it off the back of the backboard and came up and under and slammed it and got robbed from a title. That might have been one of the year that Nate Robinson won. I think the dunk contest started to go downhill when it got, I know this is so weird to say because the NBA has always been commercial, but it's got too commercial. Like for me, the jumping the shark moment was Blake Griffin trying to jump over the Kia, and he didn't actually jump over the Kia to dunk it. He just sort of threw it from a distance. And then you had one of the years that Dwight dressed up like Superman, and he just threw the ball in from like 3 feet away from the rim. And it started to become all the props, and then they wanted to extend the time so they could get more commercial time in, and you start adding different basketballs or, the period where the guys got would seem like 18 minutes to have as many attempts as they wanted to, and they only scored the one that actually went in. It just got watered down, I think, like too prop heavy and everything, and away from just the pure athletic ability of but at the same time, how many ways can you throw a basketball through a rim, right? At some point, it's just faded from significance. There's nothing you haven't seen anymore. That's why Gerald Green blowing out a candle on a cupcake was, such a fun dunk. It's like, okay, that's creative. Like it didn't take all this stuff. It just took him being creative and thinking outside the box. But so my jump in the shark thing with the slam dunk contest is Blake Griffin jumping the Kia.
Yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind when you said that whatever that became too commercialized. That was the first thing that came to mind, jumping over a Kia. Adam, you got anything new updates? Anything?
Not too much on my end. As Darren happily noticed, a little scramble on my end, but I think I found a few things, so ready to get into it.
Nice. Well, I don't have a ton of cards to share or anything new that came in.
Because the
but
Kings have it. Oh, you meant to? I thought you were going to say All Stars. Ready to take a dig at you. I'll shut up now.
oh yeah, don't worry, don't worry. You'll have your chance. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just kind of just generally share like for some reason, what I've been focused on recently is trying to pick up 24-25 Donruss retail, which I know is like probably stupid and random, but I love the base set design and I love the photography on it. I mean, I keep hearing about how lackluster Topps' photography is and all that stuff. So if you haven't kind of paid attention to the 24-25 Donruss, I think it's an amazing base set. Really good use of foil. So I was like, you know what? There were. I guess this was what prompted it. The impetus for me going after this was that Dick's and Shields were clearancing off some mega boxes. So it was like a mega boxes for $25 or something. So and things like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this cheap stuff. Try to build a base set from retail through retail and see if I can chase any Kings lasers. So, I mean, I've only opened one mega so far. Actually ended up getting a Sabonis green laser, which are the ones that I've been kind of accumulating over the last few months, and then got like a third of the base set. So I'm trying to have fun doing that. And that's, I guess, partially because I haven't found anything huge that I've wanted. So, you know, I'm an addict, so I have to find somewhere to waste my money. And so that's that part. The other thing is that, and I guess just as a side note, I'm going to try kind of just sharing that little journey on the Donruss stuff on hobby boards. And I don't know, maybe I'll make videos or whatever, but over there. And then the other thing is the West Coast card show's tomorrow. And I a week ago or a week and a half ago saw on Card Hobby's app that you could actually arrange for an order pickup from the West Coast card show. So I scrambled and got in my order. So they brought their cards. They brought my cards with them. So at the moment, I have someone that's slated to pick it up for me, because that might be tough for me to go to. But I'm going to see if I can try to sneak over there tomorrow and hang out at the show for the day. But you know, that's no easy task for me. So that's pretty much all that I've got going on. But I don't even know if I'm gonna have to pay anything. Like they instructed me to, I don't know if the best way to describe the card hobby process, but once you get all your cards in your inventory, you can like request the weighing, so you can request a shipment. So they weighed my cards, they gave me like my fees, and they said, okay, it's done being weighed. You owe $118 of state taxes or tariffs or whatever it is, and shipping. And then so I was communicating with them because they like straggled to get one of my cards in there. And so they ended up getting that last card that needed processing into the shipment. And they said, don't pay anything. So I said, okay, I mean, I'm not complaining here. So we'll see if I have to pay anything at pickup, but it would be very nice if that's a little hack to save on that shipment.
I picked up Card Hobby cards from the National one year, and they did the same thing where they were supposed to have all my cards and they were missing like two, and one was the one I wanted the most. I was all pissed off at them. But once I picked them up, they didn't charge me anything. They just handed them to me and I walked away. But the next time I ordered something, the taxes due were still in my account and I had to pay those in addition to what I had in the account. So it wasn't like I got away from it completely. It was just that I got away from it momentarily.
Oh, interesting.
And partially, like, part of me would have been like, screw this, I'll just make a new account, had it not been for the fact some of my cards didn't get put into it. So it is what it is.
That's a good idea.
It is still more convenient than getting the shipping and waiting or whatever.
Yeah, for me, I don't care about waiting. It's the cost. Like, I don't want to pay over $100 to get it over here if I don't have to. But yeah, I mean, I imagine if they're charging me for these fees or taxes, it's not something I can eventually get out of. But we'll see. Hopefully, I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them, because I'm sure part of it is just an accounting system they use, and once they tag it as an international tariff or something, I'm sure maybe you'll save the $35 shipping fee itself with the DHL cover, or you should. They didn't UPS them or DHL them, but I bet the taxes will still be there.
Yeah, totally.
Fun to get them in hand, though. I look forward to seeing what you got, and hopefully get a chance to get out to the show for a little bit. Interested to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I can get out there. I mean, it's going to be tough because, like, I don't know if it's a long drive for me. I mean, I navigated it today, which is a Thursday, and it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. So yeah,
that's not worth it.
That's not worth it. Yeah. So if it's anything like that tomorrow, I doubt I would end up going. But it's only 50 or 60 miles, I don't know, something like that. And so it's just, SoCal traffic on a Friday afternoon is not going to be something that I want to slog through.
3 hours to traverse 50 miles makes me never want to leave Kentucky. Holy cow. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
You can get 50 miles in 30 minutes around here, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny the difference. It's like, I remember the most egregious thing was one time I was going to a concert with my brother in LA. He was attending UCLA at the time. It was a 6-mile drive, and it took us 1 hour. 1 hour to drive 6 miles through downtown LA to our concert venue.
Just walk at that point. Like,
I know. Anyway, so so today we're talking everything All-Star cards, and there was a lot of sharing going on Instagram, which was really cool to see, and I learned a lot from what a couple of people shared. But I think this is probably a good opportunity for, as Steve alluded to, I don't have much to share because I don't have much experience with my players that I root for in the All-Star game. So for you guys to share. So I don't necessarily know if there's a particular place that's prudent to start, but where are we thinking?
I want to see what Adam has to throw out there, and I'll maybe bounce off some of the things he shares.
Okay, that's fair. I put a couple of different stacks together here in the mix of me scrambling. One that was the easiest was one I still didn't put away. I showed before. This is the Horford All-Star patch a while back. That was just an easy, low-hanging fruit sitting next to me. On the theme of that, this is an All-Star jersey auto of Tim Duncan.
So that was a jersey used in the All-Star game, but the
authentic NBA All-Star game worn jerseys, the wordage.
Nice.
If it focuses.
What year is that from?
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't think I've ever seen that card.
2001 All-Star game. It is 2001 or 2002. The year on the back's 2002, but that goes sometimes.
Oh, right.
But they're also like the hand-numbered stuff, hand-numbered to 25.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
And then this one isn't All-Star game used, but has the All-Star game MVP inscription from George Gervin.
Oh, that's a nice twist.
Yeah, that's slick.
And on the topic of that one, I do have a ticket from that All-Star game.
Oh, awesome.
And
is there something in particular? Oh, nice. And it's signed by him on the back. That's very cool.
Yeah, I like Gervin stuff. So when I saw it a few years ago, I bought it. But they kind of go cool together as well.
Yeah, that's a great pairing.
And then I had some just kind of All-Star cards again. We've showed these over the past few weeks, I think, as well. This set.
Nice. The Immaculate set?
All-Star Lineage.
Oh, yeah, the All-Star Lineage from Immaculate. Very nice.
Yeah. And then this is the acetate version that came out a little later. I prefer when they have like a notable All-Star uniform on like this.
Right.
Yeah. I got a pairs from that set that's got the same thing where it's specific to his All-Star. And they're numbered to the All-Star appearances. It's a great set.
Yeah, so like however many they went to. The Russell showing the trophy.
With the MVP trophy, yeah.
And that kind of brought me into some cards that show the trophy. Have Oscar Robertson winning it in 61.
Oh, and from Panini 101?
The Timeless Moments, is that it?
Timeless Moments. It's not a 101.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Very cool.
Just the regular Timeless Moments. And then Chronology.
Nice.
Jerry Lucas, MVP. Then, let's see.
I can't keep up with all this, dude. You're you scramble when you
go. I'm going. I'm just getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to go in order of theme here. Another Chronology. First dunk contest was an ABA All-Star game. This one.
That's so cool. I didn't realize that was from the first dunk contest. That Julius Erving
ABA
chronology.
created it, and the NBA.
Yeah, ABA created. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, that documentary's coming out, and I can't wait for it.
I'm very excited for that too.
Yeah, I think it drops in like 2 or 3 days. So I'll post some stuff on social media. People haven't seen anything about it. It should be a very, very good documentary.
And that's on what, the ABA or
the ABA.
Yep. ABA.
And if those that are into that, Loose Balls is a really good book that I would recommend.
Yeah.
This is one Steve reminded me of. D Brown dunk contest.
Nice.
So this is where one of the things I'm going to interrupt with. Let's just talk about how much card companies have loved using that image throughout the year. We have 2 different years of Slam Inc. from, I think this was Intrigue, that used D Brown's Slam Dunk. Not All-Star themed cards, but use that image. And then Pops like to use the image. So this is Archives, I think it was called. Yeah, right. Archives. I don't know. Baseball would be Archives. Autograph. Even back, it was his rookie card for Skybox. Like, I got this in-person autograph. It's like you wouldn't know that D Brown is actually a above average guard in the NBA for almost a decade, because almost every card feels like they just use that one image of him, and good for him because he's capitalized on it. He will still travel up the East Coast and sign autographs of that card. Yeah, that one you picked up was what, from Noir, Adam?
Noir, yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, for most teams it sucks, but for the Celtics, the Emerald Parallel is numbered pretty high for once. This was numbered to 49.
Oh,
so like normally when you buy an Emerald Parallel, it's numbered to 5. So as a Celtics fan, it was nice to get a cheap one for once.
Yeah, and that one I normally am not. I don't care for color matches. I won't say I don't like them, but I don't normally care for color matches. But I think that one is really cool. It looks really good.
Everybody's entitled to a wrong opinion.
I will say, if anybody's looking for, Adam says, like, relatively high number. If anyone wants an autograph set to be chasing, this is the 13-14 version of Intrigue Slam Inc. Amazing checklist, all on card autos. So if anybody out there is just looking for a little project, it wouldn't be easy to complete, and there's some autos in there that would be very expensive, but there's some in there that are very, very affordable. They fit perfectly in a binder. It's awesome slam dunks, focused imagery. It's a nice set.
Do you happen to know? Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
I would say those are cool, as I was saying.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you happen to know whether or not a lot of those photos are dunk contest photos, or
a good chunk of them are? I don't know. I can't say they all are, but years ago in the Blowout Forum, there was someone chasing the master set, and we were sharing images back and forth. I think a good chunk of them are. I don't know if they all are, but I haven't looked at the checklist in probably 7 years at this point. So even when I think I know something, I misspeak and make a fool of myself. So I'm not even going to try now because I'm not even sure what I'm talking about.
Adam, you got any other goodies?
I had one more. It was just on the dunk contest theme.
Okay.
And we were talking, as I kind of missed in the beginning speaking, but heard Steve talking about like the Kia jump and all of that. And I agree that that's when it got a little bit out of hand. But for me, one of the most iconic ones that I remember was Nate Robinson over Spud Webb, and they have that Raptor.
Oh, I forgot that was that card.
Nice.
So I really like that. That's like, to me, like one of the most iconic like memories of a all-star dunk contest in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's slick.
But that was all of my goodies.
It's just I don't know why they can't use special photos anymore for base cards. I mean, that was the base photo, right? And
it's the base, just happens to be the chrome black.
Yeah. Just grinds my gears. I just don't understand.
I think, can we give a little attention to Deputy Dog's most recent comment here? Because I'll pull that up. I want to see what that says.
Yeah.
Sadly, can't show it due to selling almost immediately, but best all-star poll was in the Upper Deck game patch out of 50 of Jordan with little stars all over it. Oh, that must hurt you to the core, Dep. That is... But we've all been there. We've all been there where we pull something and we sell it because we need the money or we want to put it back in the hobby, and it's just not a card that at that time fits into our PC. But that's incredibly fun and must be incredibly painful some nights.
Yeah.
I've seen a few different sets that have the All-Star patch from Jordan, but I've yet to see one that had a prime piece and a picture of the card, him being in the All-Star uniform. I could very well be wrong. I'm far from a Jordan expert. That would be the perfect card. So if I'm not mistaken, it's like the teal colored, like iconic. I think it's San Antonio. Maybe.
Yep.
That would be a really cool card. I don't think I've ever seen one. I've seen the patch and I've seen the photos used, but never the two put together.
I do miss the days of, now that you bring that up, Adam, of, and it was more the late 90s, mid to late 90s, but where the All-Star Game jerseys were themed to the city. Like, I distinctly remember it being in Phoenix and them having like a cactus-themed orange and a cactus-themed purple in the San Antonio years. stuff like that was a lot of fun. I
What
think
do they
before
even
we
do
show
now?
off, what's that?
What do they even do now for jerseys? Is it used to be East and West for a while, but it wasn't themed to the city. Now is it?
This is the most
Like
recent.
Team LeBron, Team Giannis, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and they did like this is so this is this is just a basic optic insert called All Stars, but I only pulled this up because you were asking. So this is from one of the years. This is Tatum's first All Star game. Might as well show off both the Tatums I have. So I got this is a game used relic. It's part of his warm up pants. So just a napkin, but they were all white pants. So I bring this up, Joey, because you asked what they do. They do just All Star uniforms, and then they do them like two different colors. So I imagine this year this is Tatum in an all blue with like pinstriped uniform. I imagine the other uniform was either black or white with probably blue pinstripes. And they were doing the draft things. What they've done, and that was when they were doing like the Team Giannis, Team LeBron, based on who the two most popular fan votes were. I honestly couldn't tell you what the uniforms are now that they're doing sort of this mini tournament. I don't know that I watched at all last year, even a minute. So I don't know exactly what they do.
Yeah, now there's 3 teams, right? There's 3 teams this year.
Yeah, it's World USA and then the G League this year. And I only know that because Ron Harper Jr. got an All-Star game from Brad Stevens last night. Got an All-Star game ball because he's going to represent the G League.
Well, I can show you what the All-Star uniforms are this year because they revealed them, I don't know, on NBA.com. So we can take a look here at this. Can you guys see that?
No,
we cannot. So I'll pad for you while you bring it up. And Adam, did you see who joined the 3-point contest this year?
Damian Lillard.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
He's
even the one thing that gets eyes on a Saturday night, and they're going to bring out the guy that may or may not be shooting with a walking boot on.
yeah, it's a weird pick. It's almost like we talked too about like the dunk contest. You're not getting the best and brightest. They're grabbing Mac McClung or whatever his name is to come up from the G League and play and do that. So it's like they're just finding random people at this point that are willing and throwing them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all gimmicky, right? I mean, there's just gimmicks everywhere is the issue.
Man, like how cool would it be if like truly the best and brightest at every position played every time? And people actually tried in the All-Star game. And like you, Steve, I don't really watch the All-Star game. I generally will watch like this, as corny as it is, like the celebrity games, entertaining, just seeing people be absolutely pitiful. It's like I'll watch that and just see people brick shot after shot, and it's hilarious. But other than that, like I might catch a 3-point contest, I might catch a dunk contest, but it's not like must-see TV like it used to be for me 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's nice that there's like still stars in the 3-point contest. Like Ryan was just saying that Jamal Murray's in the 3-point contest. So that's nice that the big stars still show up for those. And yeah, congrats to him. It's his first time. It's crazy that it's only his first time as an all-star. I mean, after 10 years.
I mean, they let Jaylen Brown play. They'll let anybody play.
But yeah, these are the all-star uniforms. You got, for some reason, 2 Team USA all-stars, a red and a blue, and then a World all-stars. So I guess that's how they're splitting up the teams, and then that's what the court looks like.
I like the look of those World uniforms, but don't love the uniforms overall. They're pretty busy.
That mock-up is even more busy, like the background of it.
I know.
Yeah, that mock-up is crazy. But yeah, it just seems too much. That just seems like it just seems so arbitrary. I mean, I think, Ryan was saying like he enjoyed the East-West. But again, I guess they're just trying to change it up, and so they need to do something. So that's why they went Team USA, Team World. Although I don't know if someone that has watched All-Star games. I mean, when was the last time you guys actively watched an All-Star game? How many years has it been?
I can't remember.
Probably 5 or 6, maybe something like that. After this conversation, maybe I'll force myself to watch it just out of curiosity this year. But
I mean, I don't even know if it's worth it. I remember the feedback after last year was awful. Just the amount of time for commercials and advertising and like playing games with the crowd. I don't know. It just, I don't know.
I mean, everybody complained about the defensive-oriented Super Bowl. They'll get the opposite of the All-Star game where no one plays any. So,
yeah. Steve, you showed that immaculate Tatum with the game worn shorts. Does it indicate on there that it's all-star worn? Is it an all-star theme? Like
it's game used in the man, I can't talk today. Deep breath. Game used warm-up pants, and Panini got a lot of all-star game like warm-up material. So there's a couple of sets. Opulence had a whole booklet set where they had 101 logo men with the big like all-star logo men that all came from warm-up jackets. So there's a whole set of these immaculate cards that are all I think they're out of 99. Yeah, out of 99. They're all single color because that year the warm-up pants that they got were just like basically sweatpants. I know Bam Adebayo has an out of 3 with it. I think they got a tag off of it. I think Tatum does have a 101 that I'm assuming is like a piece of a tag or something, but they're pretty much all napkin patches. But I grabbed it because it was dirt cheap and it was like a piece of uniform, even if it is a warm-up from his first ever All-Star game. So I kind of like that stuff.
Is that what all that whole set is? Like everybody in that set?
Yeah, and I think it's color matched. Like the background on this one's green. I think it's color matched to like the player's team, like home team.
Yeah.
And then has the all-star picture. And then I want to say the West warm-ups that year were black. So I think the West players have like a black relic in there instead of this white swatch.
Nice.
And speaking of warm-ups, I'll show another card. And then I think there is a set we need to discuss a little bit. But so this is another warm-up. And so Ryan had just mentioned that he's excited for Jamal Murray to be in his first ever all-star game, be in the 3-point contest. This is a Upper Deck claims it's game used. This is a relic, so that star right there in the middle of the card, whoop, right there, is a swatch, and it's an on-card auto. This is out of 25. I also have a base relic version of this, which uses a different photo, no auto, unnumbered. And so this is an all-star themed uniform, all-star themed card with a picture. I don't think it's from the all-star game, but you can see the 9/11 ribbon, so it's from that season. This is from Paul Pierce's first ever All-Star weekend. I won't say it's game used because I did a little research, and the swatch is from the shooting shirt that he wore during the first 3-point contest he ever participated in. He got absolutely smoked. He was horrible in it, and I don't even know how the guys were shooting because that was back in the day of the massively oversized uniform. So I went back and watched the 3-point contest, and it's hilarious watching just the uniforms and the warm-ups flap all over the place, but so this is from Pierce's, and that the year that he was in this 3-point contest was also the first time he ever made the All-Star game. So that's a weekend worn relic on-card auto from Pierce's first ever All-Star game. So I thought that was a pretty cool piece.
On that note, what year is that from? That UD All-Star Authentics?
What year did they release it? It's an it was the 01-02 All-Star game that he was in, so I'm assuming it's an 02-03 card. I don't know. I'm old enough, Joey, that I would have to get my phone, take a picture of the text on the back, and zoom in to tell you exactly what it says. But I'm going to guess 0203.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I was looking for, I was like trying to research like various game dated memorabilia sets. And I feel like in up through 04, 05 maybe, or something like that, the only thing you could get close to game dated specifically were those, like the all-star themed ones. So like you said, it's not necessarily specifically worn during the all-star game, but during the all-star weekend events, the 3-point contest, dunk contests, rookie challenge. So it's interesting. And there were a lot of those were really like from 01 through 03, 04. That was really the only specific game dated stuff or specifically dated memorabilia stuff. There were like playoff and finals worn stuff too. So I don't know, obviously, if that's people would consider that because there's lots of games in a playoff series or in a playoff and in a final series or whatever. But it's just, I just found it interesting that there are a lot of sets that were all-star materials and they were all dated to it, which was very cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite sets, now that you say that, is this one. This is from I'm assuming 07-08 SP game used. This is from the 2007 All-Star game. That was the year that they took what all the lay people think was the big risk, and they went and played in Vegas that year. So it's an entire game. I mean, I think there's base cards too, but I collect the patches. set that looks like playing cards, right? A deck of playing cards because they're out in Vegas. So Upper Deck went all in on the gambling theme. So you get the player's jersey number, looks like the card number. It's got their initials, where it would be like the suit or whatever. And it will say on the back, it'll explicitly say if it was game use, so if it was a piece of the uniform they wore in the All-Star game, or in this case, it's Gerald Green during his one of his dunk contest participations. And it says event worn. This is he changed uniforms a few times, but this is the alternative green and black uniform. So there's a swatch of, a multicolored patch. And then they used the one dunk that he did in that uniform, they used a photo of. So this to me is like as good as it gets for an all-star themed relic set. There's like all the patches are out of 50 or out of 25. The West cards are red decks. The East cards are blue decks. There's some just regular swatch versions that I think are unnumbered. The Paul Pierce from this set has eluded me. It's popped up, probably 3 or 4 copies have popped up. One popped up for $50 and I didn't have the funds to buy it back in the day. And every single one since then that's popped up has sold for like what I would consider a crazy amount of money for a Paul Pierce patch. So definitely a big chase of mine is the Paul Pierce out of 50 from that set. But I think that's about as good as it gets. It used in-game photo from the All-Star weekend. It matched the uniform. It gave you at least some details about game used or event used. Event used being, like I said, like the Saturday night stuff, or if they went out on the floor of the celebrity game, or if they were in the Rising Stars, stuff like that. So that's there. You're right, Joey. There's a lot out there for All-Star themed relic and autograph sets.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sets that I noticed in those early 2000s where some players, the memorabilia may be all-star worn. So on the back it specifically says, back then, the early days of memorabilia cards, they did a good job giving, specifically citing with where the source material was from. A lot of times they said it's from the 02-03 season or the 03-04 season. So it was cool, looking at various players within a set, and one is from the 02-03 season and one is from the 03 All-Star weekend. So yeah, it's very, very cool that they've throughout the years given a little bit more emphasis on making sure to identify where those All-Star relics are from.
I'll counter that with I'll prove your point with one card though, and then counter it with another one or another 3, and then but while we're talking relics, so I pulled these out of my binders. So these are a lot of Topps Pristine cards from I think either 03, 04, 04, 05. They are not all-star themed cards, and on the back it just says so these are 2 refractors right here out of 25. Both use the same image. One has, you can see the blue pinholes, and the one has like the red piping from the side. Refractors, not an all-star theme set from what I know. I'd have to go back and check the checklist. Nowhere on it does it say all-star game, and on the back it simply says you've just received an authentic NBA game worn jersey of Paul Pierce from 04-05 Topps Pristine Basketball. So while I think they did a good job, they still had stuff like this where I think they were just using up material that they had. And I think what really shows that is this is from 03, no, probably 04-05. This is another Pristine set recognizing the 03-04 season though. Again, you see that same photo of Pierce from the All-Star game. You see that blue pinholes just like the other one, but then it's a dual relic with Ron Artest, who's just in his Pacers game uniform and has his regular Pacers blue swatch there. So I think they were at times just kind of using up what they had. But what I do appreciate that if they had all-star material to use, they at least used all-star photos, right? So Artest, they must have had a Pacers jersey or pair of shorts, so that's what they used here. And Pierce, they still had some of that blue all-star left to go. And
so what does it say there on the back in terms of what each piece is?
It just says you've just received an NBA game-worn jersey card of Ron Artest and Paul Pierce from 04-05 Topps Pristine Basketball.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
A little plug for my collection for the people that listen to this. So this is the 04-05 Court Clash Dual Relic. The refractor out of this is out of 10. It's like a huge chase card for me. So if anybody ever happens to see a random, ugly, shiny card of Pierce and Artest, please reach out, because that's probably top 5 chase cards for me right now. And then what I will, the last rambling thing I'll do about patches is I think this is what you were talking about right here, Joe, where they just nailed it home back in the day. So this is SP game used, 0607, all-star themed card, all-star patch, all-star photo, all-star coloring to the background. They use the actual all-star emblem from that all-star game. The Eastern All-Stars, the Western would have a blue theme to match the red theme to match the red jersey. So this is, I think, exactly what you were talking about. And the back says, you've just received a Paul Pierce game used trading card. On the front of this card is a piece of memorabilia that's been certified to have been used in the 2006 NBA All-Star game. So nice. I think this is exactly what you're talking about, where they just hammered home all the details.
Yeah, that part is awesome. I mean, even just those three, I mean, I guess it's to each their own, but I don't necessarily need the all-star theme, but the image, the relic, and the wording on the back, that's the trifecta. Yeah. To me. I agree. Ryan.
What's up, Ryan?
I made it.
How you doing?
You have arrived.
Yeah, I did my duty. I had to take my son to piano lessons, but I am back. I was tuning in though while I was sitting there.
He makes it big for you.
Yeah.
Nice. Welcome. Steve said that was kind of the last thing he was sharing. I don't know if you have any thoughts on anything we've talked about, all-star game or card wise, or have just cards to share.
Yeah, I got a bunch of cards to share, but I was, listening in when I was sitting there, and I agree. Like, I remember back in the day being, like a middle schooler or something like that, and getting really into the all-star games. And back when they tried, it seems like it wasn't just like, oh, let's just kind of throw it around and dunk and not play any defense. Those are pretty exciting games for me. I just remember just being excited for the dunk contest. It was something new. Like, I love that you showed the D Brown stuff, Steve, because that was when I was living in Boston, and I remember that and watching it on TV and just being like, oh, D Brown's the best. I got to get the black pumps now, the Reebok pumps that he wore.
I think that's a good, now that you say that, Ryan, I think that does resonate, because you and I have talked about, but I've talked a lot with people our age, like Celtics were going into dark days back then. You didn't know who D Brown was, and we weren't an athletic team. Like coming out of the 80s, like Bird, Parrish, McHale, Ainge, Dennis Johnson, all the guys. It wasn't like they were the high flying. They were kind of the blue collar type of team. So D Brown to come out in his rookie year and win the dunk contest was very electrifying. He was a key piece of the team. He was a rotation player. He was getting real playing time, and then he came out and showed up in the weekend. And I think Adam was talking about the Mac McClungs of the world and these guys you'd never heard of. I think that really resonates with me that you said that about what the lack of fan experience is, because it's not even like it is exciting for your team. If you're I don't know, who was Mac McClung? He was in the G League for the Sixers, maybe. It's not like the Philadelphia 76ers fans could be excited about this guy coming out and showcasing their team and representing their city because he came up from the G League to win a dunk contest. So that was well said.
Yeah. And didn't he come, wasn't he mainly like one of these professional dunkers, or who is he actually like trying to get into the NBA? I don't know.
He was actually in the G League. I don't know if he had a real shot at the G League other than, the NBA, other than being like, but I think he was just a rotation player in the G League.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I just wanted to mention, like, to your point on how exciting it was when we were younger and stuff. I remember, because obviously All-Star Weekend is always around this President's Day holiday. So we'd have, like church retreats when I was in high school and middle school around All-Star game or around All-Star Weekend. And we would be like getting in trouble trying to sneak away and pull, find a TV that we can throw the game on, or throw All-Star Saturday night on. And they would find us and get mad at us for not being, whatever, like part of the schedule for the day. So it was a big deal. Now I feel like, I don't know, someone would have to pay me to sit and subject myself to that, to watching these events. Oh, you're muted, Ryan, I think.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm excited because Jamal Murray made it in this year, and I think he should have been an all-star numerous years, but, plagued by injuries and maybe just some lackluster play. He would always pick it up in the playoffs though. But this year, like especially with Jokic being hurt, he really picked it up for that month that he was out. And I think that just put him over the top. So kind of blessing in disguise that he got hurt. But yeah, as I was like getting cards together for this show, I realized that between Carmelo and then Jokic, we didn't have any All-Stars. So there's like this large gap where we traded Carmelo to the Knicks and then basically didn't have an All-Star. I don't think until Jokic in 2019. That was his first year. I was looking it up while I was sitting there waiting for my son to get done with piano. But I can show a couple cards because we did have in the past a couple other players that you guys have probably heard of.
And hopefully in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I'll start with this one that I picked up. This is a Fat Lever. So this is his 86 Fleer, but it's in-person signed. And then he's got the inscription 2-time All-Star. So he was a 2-time All-Star like back in I think the late 80s it was.
Yeah, that's a super cool one, actually.
Yeah. I was going after IP autos for a while for the Nuggets, and I saw that one, and I was like, that's perfect for Fat Lever.
Yeah, the inscription or a sneaky all-star theme, right? Like Adam showed.
Yeah.
That's a cool
exactly.
way.
It's not particularly an all-star card, but it's somebody got him to inscribe the 2-time all-star, which I thought was pretty sweet. This is a pretty cool one. So Antonio McDyess is a big PC of mine.
Oh, nice.
And I saw this one come up. This is his first and only all-star appearance, but This is from the 2001 all-star games. And so I couldn't find this exact jersey. So this is out of Leaf. This is like what is it, like 2023 Leaf or something like that, or maybe even 2025. But yeah, that year what they did, so I found a Kobe jersey that kind of matched up, is they'd wear their actual team jersey, and this was just a patch that was included on it. So All-Star 2001 is kind of cut off, but that one sat on eBay at a very high price for a while, and then the guy listed it for auction, and I ended up winning it. So that was pretty happy about that.
Have you ever considered customizing that and making it like a design that you prefer with like licensing and everything just for your own purpose?
Yeah, that's a good point, because I know a lot of these custom card makers can do that kind of stuff nowadays. Because I always wondered, like, is the one like in there?
Oh yeah.
If it's not cut off, it would be cool to like take that patch out and put a little bit bigger window so you can see the 2001, because they cut that off. Sadly, I'd almost rather have the A cut off than the year.
What? And maybe even I saw Kyle do this on his Wax Museum podcast channel, but I was from that same set, maybe a different year. Paul Pierce had a 101 that was a collegiate. It was the entire Jayhawk from the Kansas Jayhawks from a pair of pants. And one of the things that you can do is just if you can find like a card that like most of the player images on the top, just cut the window out and just put both of them together in like 180 point, and at least that way you have something like that. And that way, without like getting to the point of destroying it or whatever, if you take an X-Acto knife and take your time, you can make it look pretty clean if you stuff it into a 180 point. So you can kind of play around with it without actually like pulling the patch out or gluing stuff onto it.
Yeah, it's interesting that the front of this card is a piece of game used memorabilia. Like, they don't even mention the All-Star game at all. But beyond that, I obviously had to get something for Jokic, and I think I showed this off at one point. This is the photogenic fireworks out of 5 parallel his.
That's cool.
Better here.
I didn't realize it was an all-star like subset or insert.
Yeah, I guess it would be an insert. It says number 6 on it, so I'm guessing that's an insert set. But I had to grab something for him, so I've seen some pretty nice ones I think they have patch cards of his, like all-star jerseys. I want to say maybe Immaculate or something that I saw. Probably way out of my price range. But that'd be cool maybe someday. And then lastly, like, this is not Nuggets, but one of my favorite sets of all time, 2015-16 Prism. So this was just part of the regular set, just high numbered. I don't even think you consider them subset because they're actually, you did just number like 367, 386. But he had 2 cards in there from the All-Star games. This one's from 2014-15. And then I'm not sure when that photo was, probably from the same game. But I was lucky enough to grab a gold of that back in the day.
Whoa!
Oh, very nice.
I was just about to ask if you had grabbed any of the Mojos, because I know you like those parallels a lot. But no, you just went up there with a true gold.
Yeah, that was a great reveal. How you just kind of showing those all blasé, and then you pull out the gold just like that.
Yeah, I do have the base as well, gold from that 2015-16. That was just I grabbed a ton of those golds that year. It was like my favorite Prism set. So sold a lot of them over time, but definitely kept the Duncan just because he's a kind of a bigger side PC for me. But yeah, unfortunately, don't have much else for the Nuggets just because it's like the time that I was really collecting. 2010s. It was like the tail end of Carmelo, and there was nothing to get because nobody was in the All-Star game. Probably similar to what you experienced with the Kings, Joey.
Like my whole life.
So Ryan, you just brought up inserts, and I do want to give some love to a specific insert set that just has such nostalgic appeal for me, because it was like one of those sets that you just couldn't. So they were like I talked about before you got on, Ryan, that All-Star themed cards have been coming in since like the 70s. They've been part of like high number cards, subsets, whatever. The 90s was full of them, but this is the 07-08, so the least desirable version. But 93-94 Upper Deck, the All-Star die cuts, and then they brought them back 10 years later for 03-04, were like cards of myth back when I was a kid. So, and then they did they kind of recycled these almost like Prism does with 12-13 design. So this is an 07-08 card, but these die cuts that are just look like the paint, and then the player has an image, just action shot in the middle. The 93-94 version of these were the type of cards that, at least in the circle that I was collecting in, you only heard about, and if you got one, you thought you were going to retire on. So somehow I traded for Derek Coleman, I think it was, and I kept that thing for probably 2 decades, and it never went past $15 in value. But to me, this is the first ever like high chase insert set for All Stars, especially the 93-94, and then in retrospect, the 03-04, just because of the checklist on it, is highly collectible. The 07-08's not, so people don't go start spending money on 07-08. It's full. It's a huge checklist. There's current stars, there's retired stars in it, but the original sets were, they were innovative. Like you didn't get die cut designs like that back then. So clean. So I just wanted to give a little shout out, and I think it might have been Slaying Rocks, Joey, or somebody had posted a bunch of them. I know we got a lot of feedback, throughout the last few days in our Instagram, and I saw that. I know people are into them, so I just wanted to give a little love for that set.
Yeah, what a pro you are at transitioning us, because I did want to end out here with what people did share, and one of those was Hoops Hobby. He put up a series of stories this morning kind of highlighting those 3. So I'm just going to show those if that is, I think that kind of makes sense to do. So on his story again, so he has a blog, basketball card blog. It's really excellent. I'll show a post from that blog. So if you don't or haven't, read that, I would recommend doing it. So it's the type of thing that's sorely we need more of these days. But he posted a series of 3. So this first one is, like you mentioned, the original 93-94. Then he gave an example of the 07-08 that you just showed, and mentioned how that included previous All-Stars as well. He didn't show a copy of the 03-04, but yeah, he did show those off. And those were actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, those were the first die cuts, right? That 93-94 was the first die cut released, I think. Somebody on the Blowout forums long ago did I can show that too, did a thread where they were trying to collect a bunch of like every first within basketball cards. And so they showed that one of their first was the first die cut. That was one of the things they were trying to find, or that they were trying to achieve. And so they did show on that thread that the first die cut insert for basketball was the 93-94 Upper Deck SE All-Star die cut. So like you said, nostalgic, I guess, really significant in terms of like a chase card, but very significant also in terms of the trajectory of the hobby. So
I had a chance back in the day to get the 0304 Duncan out of 25. I can't remember the difference of it. It was some like border thing.
Joe, if you go back to where, I know it's a different year, if you go back to that card you just pulled up, if you can, so there's like foil across the top. The out of 25s were black foil, and so for 0304, maybe even 0708, but definitely 0304, they had out of 25 black parallels, and it was just the foil that goes across the top. So, and again, for 93-94, this type of foil is pretty innovative, but 0304, I'm sure there's some design differences, but they're very, very similar. And then, like I said, the out of 25 would have had black foil.
Pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah. Which I think at the time I was like, well, I don't want to pay $200 for just some foil, but I probably should have, because who knows what that's worth nowadays. Oh well.
But you guys did mention Slinging Rocks too, and he had a series of stories that were just like an all-star card museum, honestly. So I'm going to show those two real quick, and you guys can, if anything pops out at you, let me know, because there's a lot in there that I don't necessarily recognize. And so this is his Instagram, Slinging Rocks PC, a fellow Kings collector. But this is his series of stories. I guess there were some All-Star Game wrapper redemptions in the top sets. He shared similar ones from Fleer. I guess in 2005, the Denver design. Those are the Vegas cards. Yeah. Those are the base set I think you were talking about, Steve.
Yeah.
And then, so a ton of stuff there.
The poker chips, I forgot about those until he shared them in the story. Those are fun. Like the All-Star themed poker chips.
Pretty awesome too.
102 tops.
Yeah, so I don't know what that tops the All-Star logo. I don't know if that was for all the All-Stars, but that was unrelated. So there's some more from Fleer Ultra, some of the All-Star games he attended.
Oh, East-West jerseys there too. You
can see the East-West in those photos. This, I think, is similar to the one Darren was mentioning. I don't know if it's not like a patch auto, the one he's talking about with the Jordan, but it was the All-Star themed card for the Brad Miller. So yeah, lots of stuff there. Some other things I thought were cool were some tickets. So these are tickets from the 07 All-Star game. The one you were mentioning, Steve, is in Vegas. His personal, a copy or a scan of his ticket to LA. And then he spent some time talking to me about the Fan Fest. So this was a Chris Webber Lego setup that he had at some point, and how cool the Fan Fests are. And so that was just some of the stuff we had there. But so just again, like from the redemptions to the tickets to the themed cards to the photos, like it's just a treasure trove there if you're into the All-Star stuff. So if that appeals to you and you saw anything there, that might be something worth checking out, adding to collections.
Yeah, I should have brought out my binder of like 90s stuff, because they would always do All-Star stuff. I remember that Phoenix game you guys were talking about from like the early 90s, where they had the really cool like East and West jerseys, like the cactuses on and stuff. I remember that being in Hoops or Fleer, base set or something like that. But yeah, they definitely did a better job back then of like representing it, in my opinion. But maybe I'm just jaded, because that's the times I remember when they were fun.
Yeah, I mean, I know that definitely they've had, like you showed, Steve, the recent optic inserts for All-Star and Ryan, and the Prism ones too. But I don't know. I didn't collect really back in the 90s basketball, so I don't know how it compares in terms of. I feel like that's similar to what they did, but I don't know. I'll share my one I guess, all-star adjacent card. I have others that are in binders, but I didn't pull them out. The one I pulled out, I shared on my story was in the 0304 limited logos, the Peja relics, all the patches were all-star patches. I think they were from the 03 all-star game. I think that was his first all-star game. I think he was a 2-time all-star. But yeah, there's a little sliver of red there, which, I would have loved a little bit of a better patch, but I can't complain nowadays. I mean, I probably got that in like 2017, so I can't complain about having that right now.
That's really cool, and it reminds me of there's some times where I feel like the all-star relics can screw a card up too, because there's Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Exquisite, but there's an Akeem Olajuwon Paul Pierce dual number card, so they both wear the number 34, and so obviously Akeem relics are going to be red, white, etc. colors. So the way they did it was the 3 was one player, so the 3 is Akeem relics, and the 4 would have been the other player, so in this case Pierce. All of Pierce's relics on that card are All-Star Game 1. So you have 2 relics that look like they're both Akeem Olajuwon relics because they're red and white. And to me, like, those cards pop up for very affordable, considering it's Akeem Olajuwon, Paul Pierce, like 2 top 75 players. And I can't bring myself to buy them because just the aesthetics of the card just gets so thrown off for me that it's like Pierce in a Celtics uniform with this red patch, and then you also have another player with a red uniform and a red patch. So Upper Deck, I think, I feel like Upper Deck must have got a lot of all-star relics because they did a pretty good job of getting stuff out to us. But in some cases, I feel like it can actually mess up the aesthetics and collectability of a card.
Yeah, I would agree with Phil.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would agree that on that particular card. I think they might even have 2 years of those, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely 1 for sure. But it's exactly as you said. The red, white, and blue patches for Pierce really throw it off. It almost needs to be well thought out ahead of time to make the design around that, or just not do it at all for it to work out properly.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why this doesn't really bother me, because it's kind of just like a Peja headshot. So I think if he was in a jersey, you can see the purple trim. I can make that bigger, but you can see the purple trim up there, but it's so little and so minor, it doesn't bother me. I think if it was a full body shot of him in like a purple Kings jersey, I don't know if I'd want to keep that.
And I also think, Joe, Peja probably doesn't have, like, Pierce just signs a ton of stuff. He always has, with the exception of a small chunk of time with Panini. And he was, drafted in 98, so he was along for the ride of all the premium stuff. I would assume Pierce has a lot more to choose from than Peja, because Peja's like prime was a little bit shorter and he's a little bit older than Pierce. So I'm sure you don't have as much to choose from. Plus that design works really well, right? So there's I can avoid that Pierce card and still go find any other Pierce premium card from around the same time. Whereas, yeah, there you go. See, that's just like a hot mess to me.
And there is 2 years. It's 06, 07, and 07, 08. They do it both times. There's that one.
Yeah, that is really annoying. I mean, it almost looks like it could be a single piece of patch. Not that one, I guess, but the first one you showed almost looked like it could be a single piece of patch underneath that window that goes across the 3 and the 4.
I know you'll love the P. Pierce autograph there too.
Inside joke there, Pierce has 2 autographs, one where he spells out Paul and the other one where it's just P. Pierce. And I just, similarly, there's enough to choose from. I don't do any P. Pierce autos.
You don't like the big PP?
No big PP.
He does love big PP, just not in that, not in that configuration.
All right, guys. Well, that might be a sign that we have to get off this thing right now because we're just evolving quickly.
One update I'll share is that you guys will be riding without me next week. I will be actually heading out to your area of the country, Joey, for it's going to be our school break. And correct me if I'm wrong, but your state is in a historic drought. But next week, while I'm there, it looks like it's going to be raining the entire week. But speaking of All-Star Game, we're gonna do the whole Disneyland thing in Anaheim for a few days, but then we're gonna drive up the coast, and the Celtics come back from the All-Star break in Golden State, so I'll be at the game with my family, watching them kick off the second half of the season. So looking forward to the trip. Wish the weather was gonna be a little bit better, but I will be listening to you guys on the 6-hour flight home to Boston when we fly home.
We have to go extra long, I guess.
yeah, you don't mind. Finally, Adam can get his 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Maybe you can join us from location. You could do a special away feature.
While I'm in arena.
Yeah, totally.
They'll be getting ready for tip off. Maybe I'll make a little cameo.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, safe trip. Enjoy your break. Wow, you guys get a week off. We are not getting a week off next week. So
yeah, we get a week off in February and a week off in April, and then we go until the end of June. Different schedule.
So you guys end significantly later than we do then. Okay. Well, enjoy it. Have fun. Safe travels.
Thanks, buddy.
And we will see you in a couple of weeks. But everyone else, hopefully we will see you next week. Enjoy whatever all-star game festivities you celebrate. If you do not celebrate, then we'll see you next week. And yeah, enjoy.
Be well, everyone.
See you guys.
See ya.